Hello, Stacy the Black Feather Intuitive. Welcome to another New Moon Musings for September of 2022. Again, I'm Stacy the Black Feather Intuitive. Welcome. So excited to have you. And today, this month, we have the fabulous Niki Sue joining us as well. Niki Sue Mueller from Niki Sue Yoga. Hi, Niki. So excited to have you here today.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
We are really looking forward to tuning in. We were just kind of talking a little bit before we went on, and there's some really interesting stuff coming up. There's a square, there's a lot of Mars stuff that we are going to be heading into for September. So I cannot wait to get started and dive in. Just a couple of things that we would like to sort of share and talk about. First of all, if you like what you see here, feel free to like, subscribe, and click the bell on that YouTube channel. We release these every month. Also, in just a second, Niki Sue is going to explain how to really make this reading work for you, why we're doing what we're doing. But I also want to point out that this kind of reading over the month gives you a really great opportunity to be able to come back to the video and watch it over again and go to each of the different cards when you are in that particular phase, to be able to remind yourself, oh, okay, when the whole world is spinning and turning around, oh, they mentioned that in the new moon musings. And so here's what I can do to sort of understand it, or maybe something that I can do to kind of calm myself down, or maybe I can, pick myself up. So don't be afraid to use this video as a tool to be able to help you out as you're going through the phases of the moon. So Niki Sue, I'll turn it over to you. You can explain the phases of the moon before we dive on in.
So for this spread that we are doing monthly, and Stacey and I have been doing this spread monthly since we met really together as a commitment to each other. But what it provides, what I feel it provides, is some daily guidance to whatever's coming up within the present moment. So I turn to the spread during the days that the card that we have picked reflects on, and just, perhaps it gives me a little bit of encouragement, a little bit of guidance, a little bit of insight into what I'm going through. So that's the purpose. So the way the spread works is it starts on the new moon each month, which is going to be on the 27th of August at 2:17 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. I'm just giving my own, and you can do the conversion for yourself. But that's when it begins, and that's the first card that we pick to reflect that day and the following days after that. Then we'll pick another card in between the first quarter moon and the first quarter moon, and then in between that and the full moon, and so on and so forth, third quarter and beyond, so that there are 8 cards total that you're following throughout the month, which means each card is about a 3.5, 4-day cycle that you're sort of like in that card, that its guidance might give you some insight into self-reflection. So that's really basically how we do it. So I use this app on my phone. It's called the Moon, just Moon app. And it shows what the stage of the moon is at this exact time. So right now, August 15th, it's 84 degrees. It's 84 degrees. It's a waning gibbous, so it's just after the full moon. So, we're a little bit of a ways away till this new moon does start. But one thing I wanted to mention too, in the first poll that we have, our first tarot card, usually it's sort of like a theme that lasts the whole month, since it sets the tone for the new moon itself, for that exact moment. And I do have a chart for that moment. The sun and the moon will both be in Virgo at 4 degrees, 3 minutes. 4 is a manifesting number, a building number, like you can think of a block, building block. So whenever we see a 4, we're feeling into that energy of manifesting. And it's also in Virgo, and Virgo is a mutable sign, which indicates change. So whatever we're building and manifesting on is going to be in sort of deep change to maybe ways we've done things before. And there's an exact aspect to Mars in Gemini that newly enters Gemini actually at the end of this week. Mars will enter Gemini, and Mars is taking a tremendous amount of time of Gemini because it's retrograding in the sign. And whenever Mars retrogrades in a sign, it is my observation that there are some profound teachings that are really like in your face, because Mars loves to be in your face up front and like really like ready to exert its energy. So
Yeah.
their energy is in Gemini, which is a lot about being curious, inquisitive, lots of ideas, inspiration. There is definitely a metaphysical component to Gemini. It's the twins, so we're going to see a lot of both sides of things. There's a lot to be seen within those several months that Mars will be in Gemini, spending its time there. And on this particular new moon, it is exact degrees, 4 degrees. So exactly making a square aspect, which is always a little bit of a obstacle / opportunity, and to the new moon.
And squares 4 sides. So there's
exactly. Well, that
you even
I like that.
Yeah.
And I'm also thinking like Virgo is also, it's an earth sign. So Virgo also likes to build and create a structure, you know, they love their little lists.
Yeah. Oh,
I like to have things in order.
I love me my lists.
That's also feeding that 4 idea too.
Yeah. Very, very cool.
Oh, are we going to start picking 4s right away? Because did this happen last month?
God, wouldn't that be so cool?
Or some other, when we did our own.
Yeah, let's see. I chose, for this month, I chose the Shadowscapes Tarot by Barbara Moore. I thought this is kind of a whimsical deck. It's a little bit fairy-like. And I just kind of felt like we need a little whimsy. So now I understand why, because we've been talking about Mars. So to combat a little bit of the Mars, we need a little bit of the whimsy. So here is our new moon card. And again, this is for August 27th. And that was 2:17 a.m. Mountain Standard. For the Eastern Standard Time people, that's 4:17 a.m. I will be sleeping when that happens. Not gonna lie. Not a morning person, but that is when the actual new moon happens. So when you wake up, you're in that energy of the new moon. And here's what we've got. Oh, it's not a 4. 7 of Pentacles. So 7 of Pentacles is, this is a card of reaping rewards. And so if we're talking about this card in terms of how we are setting the tone for the month and the energy of the new moon, I really feel like it's taking a moment to review what work was put in the previous month. So what work you put into the end of July and into August, you're going to be reaping the rewards. And I want to say, you're going to be reaping rewards, whether they are pleasant and positive rewards or whether they are not so pleasant and positive. So I feel like there's a real energy here around having to, it's not checks and balances. It's more like reconciliation. There's going to be reconciling. And when you're reaping rewards, it's what did you put into something? You reap what you sow. And I feel like that's what we're really going to be tapping into in the new moon energy. And you're going to have an opportunity if you start to reap what you sow and you're like, ew, I didn't like that so much. It's an opportunity for you to review that and to say, how can I do that differently next time? If not this, then something even better. I'm also feeling that it's interesting that the 7 came up because 7 is also a manifesting number. We talk about 4 being manifesting, the building blocks. 7 is, I always call it, it's like the prototype just before you put it into mass production. This is the final opportunity to tweak what it is before you go and you make a million of them. And there might be a mistake, or there might be, you know, that's not quite exactly what I wanted to do. So you want to be very aware of your thoughts, because thoughts become things, and you want to take an opportunity to review those things that are actually coming into your space now. So if you're working on projects, if you've been working on a particular goal, I want to say if there's a work-related situation that is coming to a close, or you're getting prepared to wrap things up, this is the opportunity to go over everything with a fine-tooth comb before you release it out into the world, because what you release will manifest. It will come to light, and it will come to light pretty quickly. So we all need to be in a space of reviewing what it is that we're receiving, and is that really in fact what it is that we want to receive? Because now is the time to make the tweaks. So I'm definitely getting a lot of that energy. Go ahead, Nikki Sue. What do you got?
Well, first of all, the lunation, the new moon, is exactly 4 degrees, 3 minutes. So it's a
Oh,
7.
seven.
It's an exact 7, really.
I love it.
So that's really important. And sevens, yeah, while they do depict some kind of very sort of an obstacle situation, oftentimes, it's also got this perfection and mastery within the obstacle. So you know, let's see, God created the week, was the 7 days, the world in the week, the 7 days of the week. There's that kind of vibes to that. So, but I do feel that, like, you know, the card representing more failure of being successful, fear of failure, really. To me, that's what's coming. It's like that we have fears around these things. It's not that it's a failure in general. It's just we have a fear of that anticipation of that. Also, it's the Saturn and Taurus card. So it brings me to the chart again. And on this exact new moon chart for that card's day, Uranus in Taurus is squaring Saturn in Aquarius. Now, this square has been an ongoing square it was really important in 2021. You asked me to do a reading for you, Stacey, around what were the major events that were going to happen to me in that year. And I decided the way I wanted to do it was I took the Saturn-Uranus squares back then.
Yeah.
And I showed you your chart in reflection to that, because that's how important it was. Well, now they're almost exact, and both retrograde, which just kind of increases the energy a little more, makes it more potent. So the square is always an obstacle / an opportunity. So Saturn in Aquarius wants to liberate and expand. Saturn loves to contract everything. So that's been an interesting journey in this past couple years to have that. And then Uranus in Taurus is like, Uranus also wants to liberate and Taurus wants to move really slow. And Uranus wants to blow things up and make it look fast. So it's a bit of a battle of the fixed signs there, the fixed ideas and ways that you think that you're doing and not really wanting to make that change, but having a pressure point. I'm feeling into like a pressure cooker where it's like, nope, it has to happen. We have to feel the tension, the 7, in order to get kind of the mastery around what we're building, the pentacles.
Yes, it's motivation. We need a fire lit under our asses in order to actually move forward.
Yeah.
I love that. But the rewards will be sweet. In this card, it's all about the peaches. I always see these as peaches. I don't know if they really are or not, but that's how I see them. And it's all about the peaches, and peaches are sweet. And peaches are the kind of fruit that not everybody automatically goes for. Everybody thinks strawberry. Everybody thinks raspberry, which, by the way, they're awesome. Everybody thinks apple or they think orange, but they don't think peach. So peach is a little bit different. It's stepping
peaches.
line, those poor peaches, but they're so delicious, right? I love that. All right, so our next phase is the waxing crescent. And waxing crescent moon, if we're going with sort of the 3.5 days, we've got the 27th, 28th, 29th. So we're kind of stepping into the 30th of August for this waxing crescent. And oh, this is the card. Okay, so it is a very earthy month already. We've got 9 of Pentacles. And 9 of Pentacles is a card of, I want to say, complete gratitude. It's also a card that reflects the work and the effort that you've put into it. So you can see in this depiction, this beautiful fairy is sitting under a beautiful tree playing the piano. And you can look at this as a card of excellence, because when this fairy first started learning how to play the piano, they probably did not sound very good. They probably didn't have great posture. They probably were chicken pecking, you know, single fingering it, right? And now they are completely, absolutely mastering the art. And others are witnessing the mastery. Others are enjoying the excellence and the effort that goes into the manifestation of the beautiful music. So I feel that when we're tapping into this waxing crescent energy, especially after we're coming into that reaping rewards and doing a bit of a review, now it's recognizing, okay, we are on this path of excellence. What have I done really well? What have I done really well in this past month? What is it that I want to do really well? What are my skills that are going to allow me to open up more into that space of being able to feel? You mentioned failure, Nikki Sue. What is going to help me to not feel like a failure? What is going to help me to step into that excellence and that mastery of my craft? And the gratitude that I have for the work that I put into getting here. I feel like this period of time in the month is really going to bring to light everyone's skill set. And you're not going to be focusing on the negative and the what I can't do. It's about focusing on gratitude for what I can do, for what I do know, for how I do contribute into the world. And I want to say this month, or yes, this month, so this period of time, but this month, it's really about preparing the way, preparing the foundation, the building blocks for the vision that we are still in the process of creating. So it's kind of a sticky wicket. And I talk about this a lot when I talk about Phoenix phases. It's sort of the Phoenix growing. It's the womb. We don't necessarily have a complete vision for where we're going, but we know that we need to keep going and growing. So it's okay. Maybe I throw spaghetti at the wall to see what sticks, or maybe I just bring it simplified. Maybe I bring it down to the simplest thing, which is what is right in front of me right now. What is right in front of me right now is what is it that I am good at in this moment? That's what I'm putting my focus on. That's where I am going to give gratitude. And the more gratitude I give, the more gratitude I feel, the more gratitude I receive, and the more I receive to be grateful for. So that's what I feel the energy is as we're kind of moving into that waxing crescent. Also, nines are endings, conclusions, resolutions. You will find a resolve to what you explored in your Seven of Pentacles review.
Love the 9 card of Pentacles. It reminds me, I always feel like she works for the Empress, you know, it's just like, but it's in that moment of gain, of just like, that you've benefited, that you have made progress, and you're watching things as they grow. It kind of just has that vibe to it. Again, being that earth symbol, the pentacle really is in tune with what was happening before in the previous card, and the lunation itself in Virgo. This is also the Venus in Virgo card in the tarot. So Venus, I love Venus in Virgo. It's just like, just really enjoying the earth. It's really like dressing up nice and looking beautiful and seeing beauty and being surrounded by beauty. I'm just getting these vibes of fall, and like I'm just feeling into walking in the forest and just really enjoying the beauty of the earth and having this just appreciation for what we have gained. And it kind of feels like coming after this 7, that there's like this moment where it's just like, yeah, it's this well-deserved sort of fruit from the effort of the work. If you made a stop on the 8 on the way to the 9, it would, who knows, you probably pull it next. But Venus in Virgo, just being our guide. And as I look at the chart here, Venus will be in Leo on the new moon, 19 degrees Leo. So she is about to enter into her Virgo time of year coming up in September. So I also think it's a precursor to really land yourself in that vibe and just kind of taking a moment to enjoy what you have gained. And even if that gain is knowledge about something that was difficult and gave you an opportunity from the obstacle that you have just been through. I'm going to let the dog out.
Hey, absolutely. I love what Nikki Sue said there about we need to also be aware that something that we've gained can be not necessarily a physical thing. It can be the knowledge. It can be more love. It can be more connection. It can be more support. It doesn't necessarily have to be something physical. Although Pentacles does represent the physicality of the world. It represents thoughts becoming things, becoming something tangible. But when you gain knowledge, how do you apply that knowledge, and what do you get with that application? You're going to get something in the physical, right? You're going
with Venus and Virgo ruling that card, that's so exactly what you just said, because Virgo is very analytical. There is a little mind component. Venus is about relationship, could be about love, and also support. Even the Virgo vibes is Earth, so it's support. So like all of it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I love it. Love it, love it. All right, Nikki Sue, we're going for our first quarter moon. And first
I
quarter,
could even tell you the date.
yeah,
Me
go
too.
for it. I was just going to say, what is the date of the first quarter?
I could be following this and doing that. 1 second. It's going to take me a minute. First quarter moon is September 3rd.
Love it.
Saturday, September 3rd.
So September 3rd, our first quarter moon is Queen of Cups. And this is interesting because it's very Scorpio. And I'm sure that Nikki Sue's going to talk a little bit about the Scorpio in the chart and what's going on there. But what I'm feeling for us is when we're talking about the Queen of Cups, it's really about understanding that it is about delegating our not feelings and emotions, but really making sure that you are not putting your feelings and emotions or delegating your feelings and emotions or projecting your feelings and emotions onto others. It is about stepping into the sovereignty of your feelings and emotions, the sovereignty of, I have the right to feel what I feel. I don't have to put it off onto someone else. I don't have to defer and deflect. I just need to step into it and own it because it is what I feel. And I might feel differently 5 minutes from now. If I don't acknowledge it in the now, what we resist persists and it's going to get bigger. So I feel like the message here for this next few days, when we're talking about first quarter moon, it's taking ownership for your feelings. And this can be tricky because a lot of people don't feel comfortable owning what they feel. Sometimes it's easy to own happiness and joy. It's totally easy to do that. It's less easy to own anger. It's less easy to own fear. It's less easy to own jealousy or insecurity, right? So the challenge for all of us this month during this first quarter moon is to really connect on an emotional level and to say, you know what? I'm not going to feel shame or feel bad for feeling what I feel. And if I'm not happy feeling it, I know that I'm just going to sit into it for a little while, make it my friend, and it's going to move on and I'm going to feel something different. The only constant in life is change. We need to embrace the change on every level of our life, not only the macrocosm, but the microcosm of our life. So you want to pay attention to where you're putting your feelings and emotions. And are you feeling the need to delegate? Are you feeling the need to pass it off? Look at that. If you are, don't judge it. Just simply stop and observe and say, why is it that I am feeling that I can't own this feeling? Why is it that this feels really icky to me? Everybody has different feelings and emotions. It doesn't identify who I am. It's not an identifier. It's not like a rite of passage. It's not something that's going to stick with me forever. So recognize that there's some fluidity. And what if I were to not hang on to it? What if I were simply to observe it and allow it to move along? That's our challenge this week. I'm really curious to see what the astrology is with this one.
So this one actually is related to Neptune. So it's a Neptunian card. The Scorpio vibes as a water sign is, the South Node still in Scorpio, of course, on this lunation and in this whole month of September and throughout the rest of the year, is inviting us to let go of things in our emotional body, in our ways that we functioned in terms of our integrity, our intuition, and our own psychology. Really, it's a reflection of our own psychology, and we are being guided, or we're being offered via this South Node in Scorpio, letting go of that, letting go of the things that have held us back, that are part of our psyche, our own psychology. So really growing in that way. And since this is a Neptune card, Neptune's higher vibration is like a much larger kind of connection to the entire world and the universe. It's very spiritual. It's like higher love. So I want to say, like, there is like this knowing you can function in this world in a much more effective way in dealing with your own psychology. This sort of theme comes up during this month. This is kind of inviting us into that. Neptune has been in Pisces since 2011. And Neptune right now is about 20, on this lunation, it'll be 24 degrees, so at the start of the month. And it moves quite slow, obviously. So it's been making a big journey in Pisces. There's been a lot of grief involved, because when you have Neptune together with no boundaries, Pisces, there's just a lot of grief and water. So there's a little bit of grief about letting go of parts of ourselves that are no longer serving us, because sometimes that's just really hard to kind of let go of something that we've had power or control over. Yeah. And but in doing that, so I think that this is all connected. Considering Neptune water sign is actually trining, it's making a 120-degree aspect to the South Node. So it's making this kind of conversation happen with, like, what are the parts of me I need to let go to, like, be in a higher place, to use my higher mind, to follow to have more mastery over my intuition, which literally is like the definition of Queen of Cups anyway.
Yes, exactly. Mastery over your intuition. I love that. Absolutely. Yeah, this is definitely a big card of the psychic as well. There's a lot of that psychic energy. So we're going to be tapping into that. All right.
And just the mastery of the emotional integrity of just like really like master of your emotions too, not just the intuitive part, but also obviously that which you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, I love that. It's mastery of it's emotional integrity. That's perfect.
Yeah.
It's perfect, because that's exactly what it is. If we feel shame and we're trying to push things away, we're not necessarily being truthful with ourselves. And so we're not showing up in full integrity. So when we own it, good, bad, or ugly, however we choose to judge it, that is integrity, because you're showing up authentically in your truth. That's really interesting. I like that. All right. So Waning Gibbous. And what's the date of the Waning Gibbous? I think it's about the 6th. We're looking at about the 6th, maybe going into the 7th.
So I always think of that card as the 75%, just when you get to it. So that's 2 days later on September 5th. It's 75% Waning Gibbous. Yep.
So it happens a little quicker than we were expecting. We've got another queen, Niki Sue. We got Queen of Pentacles. So apparently this month is very pentacle oriented. So we are really working to bring into the physical what we are feeling, what we are thinking. I mean, we'll see with the other cards and what the other cards bring up. But Queen of Pentacles is a beautiful card, because this is the card of, I kind of have all my needs met and I got all my ducks in a row. And when you come to me, I have the ability to help you out. And I'm going to help you out without judgment. And I'm going to help you out kind of in a very motherly, nurturing way. It's interesting, Niki Sue, that you talked about the 9 of Pentacles being, working for the Queen of Pentacles. And I always see the Queen of Pentacles very much as the Empress. So it's like
she's her partner too. It's
exactly.
I feel like they're all working together. They're all
exactly. So I'm feeling very much that, especially because we have these 2 queen energies, it really is about sovereignty. It's about really connecting to what is it that you're owning and what is your birthright. And when we're talking about Queen of Pentacles, it's recognizing, okay, I've already kind of manifested what I needed. I'm focusing on the gratitude of what I've received. And I'm standing in my integrity. I'm standing in my truth, knowing that I have all of my resources. I have everything that I actually need. So anything that I feel that I don't have, it's to an extent, it's an illusion. And I want to shift more into the space of, no, my sovereignty. I can get whatever it is I need, and I can be resourceful about that. I'm also feeling that there's a real message here about asking for what you need. So for those of you who are like me and we're kind of A-types and we kind of just kind of go and do our own thing and we don't really, ask for a lot of help, this is a big kick in the butt to say, ask for the help, because there are people around you that want to help. There are people around you that is what gives them fulfillment, or gives them the opportunity to say thank you to you for things that you have done, where you have helped them out. So I feel there's a bit of reciprocity that's coming up here. And just a reminder to make sure that you are not feeling all the time like you have to do it all by yourself. Get out of your own head, get out of your own way, ask for help, and ask for those that you know have the right skill set that you're looking for. You know, you don't want to ask a stone for an orange, because a stone might want to help you, but it can't really give you an orange. You got to go to the tree to ask for the orange, right? So make sure you are asking the right people, places, and things that will be able to say yes to you and will be able to give you what you need. This is not about self-sabotage. This is not about playing into a story. I feel like some of us, we have these stories that no one is willing to help me, or it's just easier if I do it myself. That's not true. That is, if you're going to go to the wrong places to ask for help, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. So be aware of that too. Again, be accountable for your feelings, be accountable for how you're feeling, and also be accountable for who you're asking help for. And I want to say your why. Why are you asking for help? Know your why, because if you know your why, then you know exactly where you're going to go for that help, and you're going to be able to receive it, and receive it without guilt, receive it without having to jump through 57,000 hoops. It's a simple exchange, and the other person is going to be so grateful to have had the opportunity to do that exchange with you. I feel like that's a clear message for a lot of us out there. I'm not sure who that's going to land with, but I feel like someone needed to hear that. Go ahead, Niki Sue.
Yeah, and I also think she's sort of the master of taking care of herself. If you think of the Empress, you know, who's master of taking care of herself, but also in the physical world, in the physical body. So in that pentacle sign representing the earth, representing the body, kind of getting feels of like just being like, just really being in tune with how you need your nutrition to change during the seasonal change, like what feeds you, what keeps you going. It's got Capricorn vibes to it, this card, very much so. It's got some Aryan vibes to it as well, which goes to your point of like, I'm going to do it in the way I do it. I'm not going to ask for help. And that Aries kind of does that sort of thing. But this means like, this is a little bit of like understanding that really integrating, there's an invitation here to integrate other people's wisdom, to integrate someone, but knowing what, at the end of the day, what is best for you, what you need to nurture, what sustains you. This gives me a lot of feels around what sustains you, with Capricorn working hard in the long run.
Love it. Love it. Yeah. Self-care and sustainability. Love that. Great message. All right. We got our full moon.
Ooh, where is that?
Yeah, tell us.
Oh, and it's 111, by the way. Everybody make a wish.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I guess it's not by you. I guess it's 311.
It's all right.
Your
It's
time.
11. I'm going to take it. I'm going to take it. So when's our full moon? I've got it on the 10th.
It is Friday the 9th, but it's, yeah. Let's see. No, but no, well, we'll see. Like when it goes exact, it's going exact at 1 a.m. here. So it's 3 a.m. where you are.
Gotcha.
So it's, yeah, it's actually, yeah. So that's Saturday the 10th. Yep.
Awesome. All right. Here's our full moon card. Page of Cups. So we got a whole lot.
Oh, I love it.
Cups. So Page of Cups is a very creative card, and it holds a bunch of innocence. It holds a bunch of, I want to say, youthful wisdom. There's also an energy of, I want to please through what I create. And I feel like all of us are going to have the opportunity at the full moon to really step into the, what do I, when I create something, what do I want to have be that outcome, or who do I want to please through that? And you know, for all of our people pleasers, of course, I'm going to tell you, we don't need to please anyone but ourselves. That's our focus. But let's face it, a lot of us have that people pleasing in us. And so when we do create, we want others to enjoy the creation. It's not so much because we want people to praise us, although some people, they do need the praise and the accolades, but it's more about that I created something and someone else sees value and worth in it. Someone else is able to benefit from this creation. And so I feel like the full moon energy that we're really going to be tying into and focusing on this month is really about, why am I choosing to create this? What is going to come out of it? And it's not that you're doing it, that you're going to stop yourself from the creation. It's more like, okay, I feel the flow of creation, and what is it going to become and who is it going to help? I feel that there's a lot of energy around each of us being intentional about how we're choosing to show up in the world, specifically during that full moon phase. And I'm going to talk about, so I didn't mention this before, but when we're talking about the full moon cycle and the new moon cycle that we're in, full moon is the height of the work, the effort that is going into what it is that we are creating, or we're building, or we're wrapping up. So the new moon to the full moon cycle that we are sort of just wrapping up here is all about work, effort, motivation, things that are going into it. It's very divine masculine in its energy. And then after the full moon, we step more into a divine feminine, or I want to say the yin energy versus the yang energy or yang energy, where things slow down a little bit. It's not that you're not still doing things. It's more of a restful and a reflective time based on the work that you've put into it. So when our full moon card, the height of the full moon, is a creativity card, it's really giving you the opportunity to say, what do I want to create, and what is the result that I want it to have for the world, for my community, for my people, for my inner circle? Who do I want it to help? Who do I want it to serve? Who do I want it to take pleasure in, to have pleasure from? So I feel this full moon is actually really, it has a lot of potential for us to go into more of a childlike state and to have a little bit of fun, not have everything be so serious. And if we are talking about so many pentacles already showing up, thoughts becoming things, and we've got these two water cards, you know, these two cups cards sprinkled in, it's really saying, hey, we're bringing it into manifestation. Now enjoy what you're manifesting. Enjoy the fruits of your labor. Enjoy reaping the rewards of what you have sown. And this is also giving the opportunity, okay, if I evaluated earlier and I didn't like what I created, now's the opportunity to create something that is more in alignment with how I really want to feel, because I am taking ownership of how I'm feeling about my life, about my choices, about the direction that I'm sitting in, the direction that I am moving in. Go ahead, Nikki Sue.
I love that card so much. It just feels so like it's a very innocent kind of feeling moving forward, where we're not like directing our actions based on past experience, though past experience does come up, and it's really important to reflect on what has happened previous to now that influences in the way in which we act, and then trying to kind of eliminate that out of the picture so we move forward without so much of our opinion guided or misguided by what's occurred. So there's always a childhood sort of return, childhood sort of lessons to be learned, childhood healing around that card for me in my mind, and definitely based on our feelings and emotions. So when we make a new plan to move forward and start something new, create something new, maybe open our heart to a new way of thinking or acting about things, it's really important to have that moment of reflection. So there might be just this moment of reflection there, but that then we move forward without that being such a large sort of influence on how things in where we would take the next step, and feeling into taking like the next step. And also, you know, there are strong aspects in water signs this month. You know, we have Black Moon Lilith, who represents our shame, and discomfort, maybe discomfort of that others have around us for us being who we are. There's sort of a healing and nurturing of who we are this month in Black Moon Lilith and Cancer. So there's like a lot of, I think we're going to be riding that energy along with this really open-hearted Neptune in Pisces, and then sort of that letting go aspect of the South Node in Scorpio, saying like, okay, this part of my psychology and history and past is actually like causing my future to make turns and twists that like are giving me more obstacles. So really releasing that in order to free up the space. I'm kind of feeling into like this freeing of the space.
I love that. And
so that the plan can move forward.
Yeah, we need space to create. We need space to be able to move forward. I love that. That's beautiful. I also love just the purple and the blue. I mean, these are my colors, but I love the purple and the blue in this card. You know, it's just so reminiscent of how we're expressing our creativity and our inspiration. We're expressing it out into the world. I just think that's.
It reminds me of your shirt.
It is a little bit like the shirt. Yeah. Although the shirt
you're vibing with the color.
Yes, it's a little pinky purple, but yeah, it does actually, it matches. So, but you know what? It's not that difficult for me to match because basically guaranteed I'm going to be wearing purple or blue or black. That's how it rolls. That's how I roll.
Well, the cards are different colors, so the card matched you.
Yes, and I am always drawn to, you know, the cards with the purple colors. All right, so after our full moon, we are heading to our waning gibbous. And so again, just mentioning that with the waning gibbous, we are now starting to go into more of a yin energy where we're being more reflective, we're being softer, we're not necessarily pushing or driving ourselves to the end of something. We're being more in flow, I want to say, and really being receptive.
This is on the 15th, by the way, the waning gibbous, when the moon is at 75%. And so that is quite a few days after the full moon, I believe, right?
Yeah.
So it moves a little bit slower in that phase this month. So it's
that's really interesting. This month we do have a lot of different movement in our phases. You're going to die when you see the card Empress.
I knew it was coming. And so Empress has been with us in our monthly reading. I want to say like maybe she was the middle last month, or she was and in our own readings, like we have been riding this Empress card for months now. And sometimes this happens where a card just like wants to present itself, has some really big lessons that are not done with us each month. They just travel along every month. We're picking 8-9 cards a month, and there's 78 cards to the deck. So she has something profound to tell us. Absolutely. Especially with her daughters around the wheel so far.
Yes, and
or her sons.
Her position in the spread is right next to the Queen of Pentacles. And we were talking about how Queen of Pentacles and the Empress share some energy. So there's some synchronicity going on with that too. You'll see that when in post edit, when I put up the
beautiful,
the spread picture. But yeah, I mean, this is a beautiful energy to receive, especially if we are going more into that yin energy, because the Empress is about receptivity. She is about abundance. She is about sexuality. She is about all of that. I have a right to be here. I have a right to take up space. I am Mother Earth. I have everything I could possibly need and want, and I am more than happy to share it with all of you. We all need to understand that we're all connected. And I'm going to come back to the asking for help. And I think that was the Queen of Cups card that I got with that. Or maybe it was the Queen of Pentacles, but it's asking for help. The Empress is saying, listen, you're no better or worse than anybody else on this planet. We are all on here together. We're all on this wild ride called life. If you need something, come and ask for it. It can be yours, but we don't need to be greedy about it. We don't need to hoard. We don't need to get into a space of fear around there not being enough. The Empress is coming through this month and at this particular time when we're talking about the waning gibbous to say, you've just come off of this beautiful creative energy and creative flow. Now, enjoy what you've created and share it. Share it, because everybody can benefit from it. So here we were talking about, who do I want to create for? Now the Empress is coming, the Empress is coming through now to say, okay, you made it for all of us. You made it for all of us. And so now put it out into the world and just see who gravitates to it, because we are all connected and we're all going to benefit, whether it's one person that's paying attention to what you created, or 55 people that are paying attention to it. We're all benefiting from it. And I feel like the receptivity is the biggest message in this card as well. Be open to receiving. That's receiving divine guidance. That's receiving your intuitive knowings, nudges, the intuitive next steps. That's also receiving help. That's also, I want to say, being open to receiving what you deserve, what you desire, and what you deserve. I feel like these few days that we're going to be stepping into, it's really going to be an opportunity for everyone to, it's kind of like every day we have something new to celebrate. You know, I think yesterday was like Middle Child Day or something like that, and celebrating middle children. It feels like this is going to be a day where everybody's going to have something to celebrate, because you're open to receiving. You're open to receiving. And I feel like this is also very much a heart card, receiving through the heart. So pay attention to that as we are coming out of the full moon energy. You want to notice what that creative flow has done to the heart space, and how do you want to receive? What do you want to receive into your heart? How do you want to receive it through the heart space?
I love it. I mean, she's the Venus card, so there is such a huge connection to the Nine of Pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles that have been previously pulled. I mean, it's just like so amazing. And it's kind of interesting to me astrologically, because Mars is going to become such a huge player in September and forward for the rest of the year. And here's Venus going, you know, I'm not going to let you completely take over.
Right.
Let's remember the divine feminine. Let's remember that we are receptors. We are willing to receive. We deserve to receive. And again, it doesn't mean like I'm going to receive like a lottery ticket that's going to win. It doesn't. It can also. There is a tone in here of being successful on multiple levels, but that could include money. That could include your health and body. That can include some of these more tangible ways, or more manifested ways, I want to say. There's definitely that tone in this. But I do think it even goes so much deeper, especially how the cups have been threaded into this month so far. It feels like it's going so much, even penetrating more deeply in to where like what we are receiving, how we're nurturing ourselves, really feeds like the soul on a so much deeper level.
Yeah.
This sort of nurturing kind of vibes comes up. And Venus, you know, she's in Leo now. She'll be in Leo for a little while yet. And Venus in Leo wants to really like, it has a lot of energy towards relationships, has a lot of drive towards love and creation and joy and pleasure.
Yeah.
And then she's going to come into the Virgo vibe of making a plan, like really like sticking to the plan. And I feel like that kind of comes up right before this card with the Page of Cups. So it's like, this is kind of really like each card is sort of following the next. Yeah, this is a good one. This is a good month.
Yeah, it's going to be a great.
And Mars and Gemini, you know, what's coming with that can be a lot of anxiety. Mars really like puts the flame on something and sort of makes it heated. And so in some ways, having that sort of Empress vibe, keeping it grounded, keeping it earthed, keeping it, reminding us about the nurturing throughout this process is important.
And when you were talking about this being the Venus card, I'd forgotten about that. And I love that this is the Venus card. Venus, as you said, it's relationships, and Venus and Mars, right? It's the, you know, sort of the opposites that need to keep things in balance. I always think about the sexual aspect of things here as well, that I feel like there's something coming up there too, where it's about getting into the physical body, connecting to the physicality of things is going to help to keep some of that overheated, overbearing Mars energy, not at bay, but I want to say tempered. And I'm just hearing that as an addition to what you were saying around the receptivity. So I don't know if that is in the astrology or not, but that's what's.
But let's just hope.
Yeah, sign me up, right? Sign me up. That's so funny. All right, so we are now doing our last quarter moon. So last quarter is always very exciting to me because there's anticipation of the next month and the new moon. So I always like pulling this. And last quarter, we've got, when is that? Last quarter looks like
September 17th.
Yeah. All right. So it's actually all of our quarters seem to be falling on Saturdays, which is interesting. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Emperor?
King of Pentacles.
Oh my God. Well, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it is a pentacle party this month. It's pentacle party. It's pentacle time. So kings are mastery. Kings are leadership. The King of Pentacles, I always call this guy the Midas touch. So anything he touches turns to gold. He has, not only does he have the resources, but he also has the faith of the people. You know, this energy has the faith of its surroundings, its environment, its people. No matter what happens, this is the energy that has the answer, has the solution, has the solid foundation. This is the place you go when you need to get out of the storm. And they have, you know, everything you could possibly imagine and then some, and they're not asking for anything in return. And I feel like this is a message from the universe, as well as our dream teams, actually saying in the last quarter moon, when you're doing the reflection of what's going on, when you're in that cycle of, okay, what are we creating? What are we preparing for as we're moving into sort of this next month? It's understanding that I don't have to stress about anything. I need to connect to source and to understand that I am Mother Earth. I am connected to Mother Earth. I have access to whatever it is I need. And so now I just need to step into it. Not only do I need to own it, as we kind of talked about with the queens, that birthright energy, which also is very much Empress, but it's also understanding that now I can lead with that. It's not only the awareness and understanding of the birthright that I have the right to take up space and to breathe the air that I breathe. It's also now I'm going to lead by showing others what they too can have, choose, be. And I feel like there's an element or an energy of teaching or leading by example that I feel each of us is going to have an opportunity to tap into during this particular last quarter moon cycle and period of time. Is what is it that you are showing out in the world, because others are paying attention, others are watching. And you know, you might not be the leader, you might consider yourself more of a follower, but even with followers, it's always the, you know, we have the two sides to every coin. So the coin, we have two sides to every coin, two sides to every coin. So when you feel like you're following, where in your life do you feel like you lead? I'm going to talk about the Seven of Pentacles and what we were talking about with the Nine of Pentacles. What are your strengths? Where do your strengths lie? What are you grateful for in your life? Well, now you are going to be leading with that because you have the resources at your fingertips to be able to make it happen. And there is no doubt, there is no question. And it's a win-win. You're going to be successful. You have the Midas touch. Everything you touch turns to gold. So this window of time as well, anything that you set your mind to, anything that you put heart behind is going to be successful. It's going to come to fruition quickly, and it's going to benefit not only you, but those around you. Interesting message. Go ahead.
Yeah, I love that there's like this sort of resolution and success that this indicates, like this really big sort of moment of abundance sort of security too, right? Like you just like have made it to a place where you have, it's prosperity, it's bringing forth that sort of medicine and comfort in that. It feels like I love seeing a card come up this late in the spread like that, or this card come up particularly with that kind of success. And I'm getting the feels that there's like going to be something financial involved with this, whether it's your own personal business or perhaps maybe even the economy. Is going to have some hope for the economy here. Like, I think things are moving forward in a way that's going to create more abundance. Maybe food supply will get better. There could be something around that at this time. It kind of feels, I'm getting more of like sort of this like hope for the future way, but even more of a collective hope. And maybe again, on a personal level, I just love that this whole month was, started in this Virgo lunation. And then we're like, Virgo to me is, the earth sign that really brings it all together. It's ruled by Mercury. So it's like, we need the mastery of the mind to manifest. The 4 again comes up here. And if we do all this stuff and we really think with our hearts too, with our cups along this journey of this month, we're really going to find this abundance. We're going to be able to step in this place of prosperity.
Yeah. And it's been there all along. I mean, he's got the strong, the trunk of the tree. He's like a redwood tree, right? He's been there a long time. This is not stuff that we have to reinvent. It's there. I want to say ancient wisdom, ancient knowledge. We just need to tap into it and apply it to today, apply it to now. But everything is there for us. We have to ask for it. We have to ask. I forget if that was Queen of Pentacles or Queen of Cups. So I'll just show them both. But we have to ask for what we need. All right, we got our last quarter moon. So this is the second last card in our spread. The card after this is our soul card. So let's see where things are at for us with our waning crescent. And when is our waning crescent this month?
Our waning crescent's on the 20th.
All right. So it's our first non-cup, non-pentacle is the Ace of Wands. And I got to tell you, this is one of my favorite cards in the deck because it is inspired action. It's inspired spirit. It's inspired passion. This Aces is always about new beginnings. Aces is always about the pure potential of something. And it's the idea before it comes to fruition, and it's in its purest form. It's also imagination. And I feel like when we're talking about the wands, given everything else that has come through, this being sort of the last card in the moon cycle aspect of our spread, is basically saying all of this manifestation is laying foundation for this new inspired action that you're going to be presented with as an opportunity to say yes or no to. And I want to say, I keep hearing in my mind, 3/4 of the people are going to say yes to the opportunity. So I feel like there is something for each of us on an individual level that is going to be reflective of this Ace of Wands energy. I'm also hearing it's really important for each of us to really get clear. Like, we need to be clear energetically in order for this to come through. So if you are, stepping into this particular phase, this particular time where we are in the waning crescent, and you are anticipating what's coming up in the next month, but you're feeling a little clogged, you're feeling a little drained, or like you don't have a whole lot of clarity, what I'm going to say is you need to go for a walk. You need to clear your head. You need to clear your heart. You need to clear your energetic space. If you're a sager or a Palo Santo, sage and Palo Santo, maybe use a Tibetan singing bowl, do some sound healing, sound therapy to clear your energy and clear your spaces, your physical living spaces. I'm hearing that's really important. If you are not doing that, and if you're not in a clear space, you're not going to be able to receive, I want to say, the action steps. You're not going to receive you're going to receive the inspiration, but you're not going to receive the action part of the inspiration. So you're not necessarily going to know how to put it into practice. Odd information to come through. And whenever it's oddly specific like that, I love it because it always means it's a direct message from the divine. All right, Nikki Sue, you're up.
Well, whenever we get an ace card, this reflects the time of the year of the suit. So this is the fire time of the year.
Oh,
so anything that reflects Leo, Sagittarius, and Aries, and you've been saying a lot of Aryan things. So this is about action. Obviously, all the fire is about action and kind of comes up in a time. So we're in September, we're having a little bit of a reflection we've had on what we've just experienced, which has been in Leo season, which has been this previous time, this summer. Even though we're in Virgo season at the time of this reading, or when this card is, it is a sort of a reminder of like, what are the lessons that we've been learning so that we can act in the way that we need to moving forward, and trying to just retry. And then what are we planting the seed for, which is the next card. We're not going to pull it because it's for next month's new moon card is the next card that comes up. So in a sense, this is like our last moment before the next new moon, where the full moon was about reflecting on everything. The new moon is about planting the seed, ready to move on. There's this moving on aspect. So I love that I love when an ace comes right before that moment. It's closing out the month with, we're starting something new.
Yeah.
Creative action. And I want to say in Leo, it's like based on like what's in our heart. Leo's all about the heart. There's a lot of that vibe about relationship that we've talked about, Venus and Leo. There's a lot of sort of tones that are about really what's in our heart. And I kind of feel like this overall spread is about like moving forward in this manifested way, with that 4 starting the whole thing, and all the pentacles and the Virgo and all of that, and building, and it could be work, and it could be money, and it could be, but there is always this tone around emotion, relationship, connection, sharing. I heard you say sharing earlier.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, how do I want to share moving forward? Who do I want to spend time with? Making those choices. You spoke about that. This is kind of like now, okay, we're lighting the fire for it to continue going next month. Let's see what we got for the soul card before I pick up the kids from soccer.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Ooh.
So the soul card for everybody is the card that we pull, that we put in the center. When you get the picture attached to this video, you'll see there's a card in the center, and the card in the center kind of is our, I want to say it's like our
collective
best friend, collective symbol for the whole month. It's sort of the anchor card for the whole month, that which we kind of derive energy from the whole entire month. What'd you get?
OMG. 9 of Wands.
Wow.
So
I love how we finish with the wands strong.
Exactly. And I feel like it's interesting that we pull the soul card after. We could pull the soul card first and then do the new moon. And sometimes we do switch that up and we do that. But what I'm feeling here is, it's interesting that we got Pentacles and Queens, Pentacles and Queens, Pentacles and Queens, right until the end. We got the wand energy. That's what we're moving into. And I feel like that is what is sort of underlying everything that we talked about today, is this energy of, I always see this as a card of control. What are you in control of? What are you out of control with? What is it that you need to release so that you can move forward with confidence? What is it that you need to kind of hang on to, or maybe put a little more structure around in order to make it work for you? And so when we are talking about the pentacles and the cups and all of this manifestation, I feel like the 9 of Wands is supporting that with that little fire. And I think I mentioned it at the beginning of the reading. Sometimes we need a little fire under our ass to get us going. This is the fire. This is the fire. And it's a 9. So 9s, endings, conclusions, resolutions to things, so that you're clearing a path. Maybe you're burning away what is no longer working, so that you're clearing the path for the new to come in, and so that it can take root. So very foundational, but the fire is the energy. It's the motivation. It's our spirit soul. It's our soul spirit. And it's really beautiful that it's coming up in that soul card space.
I love it. And at the end of this month, around that date, so in between, like when I give you the date, the 20th and the 22nd, we're under a Leo moon. Venus has already moved very far into Virgo by that time. But I love that we finish off essentially on the Leo moon, the last couple of days of this spread, which just brings all of that heart and fire and idea. And that's just, I just looked up the chart for that. So if by the end of the month, that's where we'll be. And that's just lovely. That's a really lovely energy. We'll also be closing out. It'll be basically, that's the last day of Virgo season. So, you know, the Virgo kind of vibes of the whole month will be like, we're going to move on, and then we'll be in Libra land.
Yes. Oh my goodness. And
So
there's
good.
single air, nothing air in this sign, in this reading at all. So we are very much in manifesting our feelings and emotions. So be clear of your feelings and emotions. And that 9 of Wands is going to support us. That is the energy. That's our motivation. What's my motivation? Well, your motivation is 9 of Wands. You got a fire lit under your butt.
I still think that air component is out there for the whole month, considering that the ruler of the new moon is Mercury. So with the sun and the moon in Virgo, so that there are a bunch of lessons to be learned around stuff of the mind. It's always there, but I feel this really deep integration of mind, body, spirit. And I love how, you know, we start with this really big sort of body element, mind, body, with the Virgo lunation. And as we've gone around the wheel, at the end of the wheel and throughout the whole thing, we have like that spirit component in the fire suit with the wands really guiding us, leading us, and lighting that fire under us.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful. I'm actually really excited about this month. I think
sounds great. Thank
Absolutely.
you.
Well, thank you so much, Niki Sue, for joining us today. Thank you everyone for watching. Remember, you can continue to come back to this video and check in with the different phases of the moon, and check in with that card and see how it is affecting you on an individual level, or maybe even what you're noticing in the collective and what you can contribute to the collective. We really appreciate your support. Thanks for tuning in. Would love to see you anytime you have need. Check out the blackfeatherintuitive.com, my website. If you're interested in booking some time with Niki Sue for an astrology reading, she's an amazing astrologist. So you can connect with her. What is it's Niki Sue.
So you can find me at nikisuyoga.com. That's Niki with 1K, nikisuyoga.com, SUEYOGA.com. And I also have an Instagram on NikiSue108. I offer natal chart readings, any kind of reading you want. We can do synastry charts, whatever you're interested in. And yeah, you can find me there. Please friend me and message me. And I'm also on Facebook.
Awesome. And you can also find me on Facebook and Insta as well, the Black Feather Intuitive. I'm all about change and transformation, and I'm going to be coming up with a really cool membership very, very soon called Ignite Your Wings, Wisdom for Transformation. Can't wait to tell you guys all about it. Have an amazing month. Enjoy this new moon.